Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're bringing back Raya reviews. So I'm going to be reviewing and more or less just sharing my thoughts on a new song that just dropped, which is called 8. It's by IU and Suga from BTS. So if you don't know who IU is, she is a Korean soloist. She's a singer. I'm a little bit familiar with her. I actually heard her song from, I believe it was the Itaewon Class OST, one of those K-dramas, one of those shows that I don't watch, but I heard the song, and I think it was like Give You My Heart or something. I thought the song was really pretty, really emotional. I think her voice is really nice. I really enjoyed that, and I also heard her song Blooming, which came out not too long ago, I don't think. So I've heard a couple songs from her, but I'm not really super familiar with IU, so this was kind of my first time going into her stuff. Honestly, the only reason I really knew about this or was particularly interested was because I'm a big fan of Suga, Min Yoongi, August D, whatever you want to call him. I'm a big fan of him. Obviously, I'm a big fan of BTS as a whole, but he's my rap line bias and my other bias besides Gemma, and Gemma is my ultimate bias, but that's not the point. So I was definitely very interested when I heard this was a collaboration, because I guess I would say that IU and Suga are not the first people I would think of when I think of a collaboration, or like someone I would have someone collaborate with. And it's really interesting to think. And then I also realized that Suga, he can just like mold into anything. He really works well. He's insanely talented, and he can really do collaborations, or like he can drop a rap verse on a song like better than you would expect, like, and it doesn't feel forced, or doesn't, you know how a lot of collaborations don't really fit like a song that's more like, because when I think of him, I tend to think of like the harder or like the more aggressive, when I think of him rapping or whatever. But then I can also realize he can pull into that like emotional or like central, and he can pull into that kind of vein. And when he does that, he can collaborate with singers, people on songs who are like more of an emotional song, more of a like different type of song. Obviously, he was on Halsey's album. If you don't remember, this happened, her album Manic, which came out in, I believe, January or February. I actually don't remember when it came out. I didn't review it because I wasn't reviewing albums at the time, and I'm still not really reviewing albums, and I haven't really been making videos consistently. My mental health has been kind of shit right now, but I'm going to say that he was on Halsey's album, and that I actually thought that fit really well. And I'm not just being some like blind stan or anything, like, OMG, Suga fits onto everything. I mean, like, he's legitimately talented and is really good at fitting onto different songs. I definitely think he fit better onto her song than she did on the BTS song. I thought she was fine on it, but it just didn't really feel like Halsey, because that's a very upbeat song, whereas Halsey was kind of going for this moodier, introspective vibe on her album Manic, which I think Suga is really good at playing into that lane, which I think is why that worked. Now, going into this, I didn't really know what to expect from IU, as I don't really listen to her. I was expecting something somewhat emotional because, like I said, the song from the OST that I heard was really, like, pretty but really emotional. I was definitely not expecting something terribly deep, and what we got here is a really well-produced pop song. Like, I think apparently Suga also produced it, which does not surprise me because he's such a good producer. I haven't really heard him do, when I think of producers, I think of like rap, or if you're a rapper and producer, I haven't really heard him do like pop production, but it sounds really good. The song itself sounds fantastic. He doesn't have a lot on the actual song, he just has one verse in the middle there, and then they don't really sing together. It's mainly her song, but he did produce it, so honestly, big props to him for doing that, because the song sounds really good. Like I mentioned, it's a really slick kind of like synth pop song. It's relatively upbeat. It's definitely not a happy song or a light song, and I'll be getting into that. But it is definitely upbeat, and I really like the way the song sounds, and I absolutely love the music video. I think, so Suga isn't in the music video. Like I said, there is no boys or no people in the music video except for IU, and then also parts of the music video are animated, and I thought that was so cool. I loved the artistic direction. Like there's one part where she's like riding a dragon, which I just thought was really interesting. It kind of made me think of How to Train Your Dragon. I don't know why, but it just did. Just like the like artistic direction of it. Some of the animation, it's just really, really good animation. You know, the live parts were good too. Like everything about the video was really aesthetic. I was kind of confused, and I still am, and I like, why is the song called 8? Why is the song, you know, it's like none of it really made sense to me. And then I looked up the lyrics, and it still didn't really make sense to me. My initial interpretation of the song, and I will say that I can't guarantee that anyone's interpretation is right. Obviously, I didn't write the song, and it's kind of like an example of not wanting to read too much into this, but the song is definitely, so the song is about missing someone and, you know, cherishing memories with them, and it keeps having the refrain of like forever young, which I kept hearing that part when, you know, that part in English when I didn't have the lyrics. I was just listening to the song with the video. And Forever Young, there was a BTS song, you know, Young Forever, that was a thing. I know that's really random to think of. Forever Young, there's also a Blackpink song called Forever Young. That song's just kind of fun. It's kind of like, let's party, you know, like we're capturing a moment, you know what I mean? Kind of a vibe of like capturing a moment. I could die in this moment, forever young. It's not a deep song at all. It's a fun song. However, the song that it reminded me of, my initial interpretation, I wouldn't say sonically, even though I would say, and definitely not the singing style. IU has a very, you know, breathy, like high singing style. She's definitely not a belter. She doesn't have like a low voice, you know. She doesn't sound like Taylor Swift at all. I don't really think. Her singing style is very different. However, Taylor Swift, you know, I was talking about the synth pop kind of thing, and I guess it does kind of sound a little bit like Taylor Swift, but I think lyrically and thematically the song kind of reminded me of Wildest Dreams by Taylor Swift, because that's kind of a song. It's kind of like capturing a moment, like in the midst of a breakup. So it's kind of like we're going to break up, you know, and say you'll remember me in your wildest dreams, like, and again, this seemed to be very much about capturing memories. So I kind of was just getting that kind of vibe from it. I was thinking like, oh, maybe it's like a breakup, and it's like IU is like, you know, she's broke, like some person has left her, but it's like, I'll always remember the good times I had with, you know, this person. And I'm not saying, I'm not playing into anything that literally happened. I know nothing about IU's relationships, but like, I'm not saying she was actually in a relationship where that happened. I'm just saying that was kind of my initial interpretation of like what the song is trying to go for. And then I was reading some of the comments, and I was kind of getting a very different vibe from the comments, which is a lot deeper. And I wasn't really sure where to go with this, because I don't want to, because on the one hand, it's like, I wanted, like, you know, being respectful in handling things, but on the other hand, I don't want to, like, read too much into it, you know what I mean? I thought, like, when I saw the first comment, I'm like, oh, come on, are we bringing everything back to this, blah, 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 like, can we, like, give it a rest? But seeing the consistent comments, because, again, I don't know much about IU, so apparently she was friends with, at least Soli and Guhara, so both of them, unfortunately, committed suicide last year, and the fact that she was friends with both of them, I was not aware of that. Again, I'm not really very familiar with IU or her past, and people were saying the song doesn't really give them songs, it's not really about boys, because I was talking about it in the comments, that there's not a boy in the video, it's just her, and talking about the kind of memories, and then the forever young thing as well. People did bring up Janyeon as well, and I'm not really sure how, like, I'm not really sure, you know, what their relationship was. I don't mean anything like that, like relationship, but I mean like just their friendship. I don't really know, like, I don't know much about IU, as I've already mentioned. I know next to nothing about her, like, personally, or who she's even associated with, who she's friends with. I just don't know. But it did sound like from the comments that she seemed to know all three of them, which, again, I can't really say for sure, because people were bringing up the 8. People were saying the number 8, when you flip it, it means infinity. That's what they were saying the meaning was, but they were saying that she was friends with Soli for 8 years, and that Janyeon's birthday is on the 8th. So that's what one of the theories was. I can't say for sure that that is why the song is called 8. I don't know. It's actually kind of funny. I mean, it's not funny, but it makes me think of Billie Eilish. She had a song called 8, but that's neither here nor there. But going back to what I was saying and like bringing up all three of them, when I first read that first comment, I'm just kind of like, do we have to make this like super depressing? Like, is this? And the song isn't necessarily depressing, because it does kind of have a hopeful tone to it. I will say that, but it's kind of like, I guess I got the impression it's kind of like not wanting to move on or love again was kind of like what I got from the first verse. And when I was thinking about that, like in this context of like a relationship, I'm thinking like, oh, someone broke your heart and you don't want to move on, you know, like, right? But in the context of losing someone like that, it's definitely more of a, you don't, like, you're scared to have like a bond, or scared to, you know, have friends or like be close with people because you're scared to lose them. And that's something that I've definitely experienced. And you do tend to kind of push people away. I mean, that's just from my experience, like when stuff happens. But then she's talking about the memories, and it does have like a hopeful tone, but I mean, saying it's kind of melancholic. That's why it reminded me of Wildest Dreams. So I don't really know. However, that's, again, the interpretations in the comments. I don't want to like read too much into it, because I just don't know. I don't really know how IU and Suga know each other. Again, I know next to nothing about her. I know a good bit about him. However, I just don't know how they know each other, so I don't even know how they ended up getting them together. And I don't really think BTS were close with, I don't want to say they weren't really close with any of the SM idols. I know that Jimin has like a little friend group with Taemin and Kai. I know that's like a thing, which honestly is one of my favorite things. It's super cute, it's super enjoyable. But that's neither here nor there. But I do remember one of the things that I thought was interesting, that just kind of came to mind when I was talking about this, is that I remember there was that interview about BTS, and I'm not really sure why like this came up in the interview, because the BTS didn't really have much of like an association with SHINee or like anything like that. Like that was never like a they seemed to like each other fine. Like there was a one clip where they were doing the reactions to their stages, and they like interacted, like they seemed to, you know, they liked each other. There was no like bad blood there or anything. I just don't think they were like, you know, like obviously they weren't in the same company, they weren't like, it just wasn't the same, like none of them were like best friends or anything. So I just kind of feel like I don't really know, like they had nothing to do with it. It's like, okay, we're just the biggest K-pop group, so we're gonna ask you what you think. Like, so I thought that interview question was kind of weird. But when that interview did happen, what I remember what Yoongi said was that he was saying he did kind of want to open up a conversation about mental health, which I think was very, very good thing of him to say. Honestly, I have so much respect. I have so much respect for him for saying that, you know, from that interview. And I remember when it happened, when they asked them about Johnny, and when they asked him, they're like, it's like, what are you going to comment? I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of like, why would you ask that? But that's neither here nor there. I think that he did also say that he sympathized with him, which people were really concerned about, but it's not a secret that Yoongi has struggled with depression, anxiety, all sorts of things. That's not a secret. Of course, people were worried. I mean, I would worry, like, obviously. However, that's not really the point as of now, so I just thought that was interesting. Maybe on that level, maybe like depression and mental illness is something that he really cares about. So like even if he wasn't close with them, he would like, that's something that he would, you know, be kind of like wanting to, you know, support that, you know. And IU, and like I said, she seemed to be close with them, and she was friends. And I didn't know, apparently she was actually close friends with Sully, which I did not know. I knew that, you know, Sully and her were friends, obviously, but I did not know, because somebody was saying she was friends with Sully for 8 years, and that was one of the reasons it was called 8. I don't know. I think that's actually kind of a likely. I think the infinity thing is the most likely. I think, you know, 8 years. I think that's like a that actually makes sense. I don't know about the Jonghyun birthday one. Seems a little more far-fetched. I'm not saying it's like impossible, but it just kind of feels like, why? Like, I don't mean why, but it's just kind of odd to me to like bring that into it. Like, is it just a coincidence that all these things had 8s in them, or like I'm not really sure. Like that could just be a coincidence is what I'm saying. I'm not sure if that was intentional, but that oh yeah, his birthday was on the 8th of last month, so it's like I'm genuinely not sure if that was intentional or not. But people were pointing it out, so I thought I would mention it. Anyway, again, I think the song is really good. I love the lyrics. I love the way it's written. It's definitely a roller coaster and sounds fantastic. IU sounds really good on the song, like she always does. Suga sounds great on the song. He's not really on it very much, but he produced and it sounds fucking amazing. It's really IU's song. And if it is, a song dedicated to your friends, that means so much more, even me just being here and being like, oh, a casual K-pop fan or like this and that. It's like I can like feel like, well, first of all, I know what it's like to lose people, not necessarily in that way, but I'm not gonna get into like all of that, but I think she definitely if it was, I'm saying I don't know if that was like officially confirmed, but that's pretty much what every comment was saying when it came to the lyrics. And I'm saying, like, even me as a casual fan, or like even if I don't follow someone or don't follow, like, I just still find that stuff to be really, I think it's really important to talk about mental health, and I find that stuff to be really tragic when I do hear about it, because it's like, even with like her, like I never followed her in my life, like I didn't even know who she was. Apparently she was in a group called Kara, and I've heard the song Step by Kara, which was one of those old classic K-pop songs. So I was not aware, and she was Sully's best friend. I was not even aware of who she was. I remember when she passed away, the only thing I remember about it was that people were going online and saying she should have stand X, or she should have stand someone, because, the whole Stan Luna thing with the other time, which I thought was, like, really kind of weird, like, fighting fire with fire there. Like, can we just be respectful, please? But I actually remember when that happened, because I didn't even know who she was, and I wasn't really following K-pop at all. The only K-pop I knew was, like, Blackpink, and I hadn't, like, kept up with, like, K-pop in a long time. I think I knew, like, in 2017, like, a little bit of, like, but I hadn't kept up with it. So, or in 2017, I got into, like, the old stuff. Like, I listened to Girls' Generation, I listened to FX, and I listened to Blackpink, which was not old at the time, which was still new. But I never, like, watched videos about them. I never, like, followed the idols. I didn't have social media back then. So I never, like, followed the idols or talked about, I was just never, like, really involved with the idols, or, like, I didn't even know who was who. I just knew there were members in the groups. So, like, with FX, I think I knew some of the names, and I only knew Amber was the only one I knew because she's a tomboy. Like, I know that's a really dumb reason to, like, know her. She's awesome. No offense to Amber. I have nothing against her being a tomboy. I just remember it stuck out to me. Like, I just remember people talking about it. Like, I was the only, like, so I didn't even, like, really know who Sully was or, like, follow her. But it was, like, I did listen to their music a crap ton back in the day. Like, in, like, 2017-ish. And FX, like, was the group that got me into K-pop. Like, when I listened to, Electric Shock, that was the song. I would say, like, The Boys by SNSD, that was the first song I had saved. But the song that really made me fall in love with K-pop was Electric Shock by FX. And when I think about that, and, like, from all accounts, like, from everything I've seen, like, Sully was just, like, seems to be, like, a really nice person to, like, I know that's neither here nor there. Like, honestly, I don't care if you're a fucking asshole, it's still sad, but, like, she seems like she was a really nice, like, and definitely kind of pushing the boundaries, pushing some of the norms with, kind of a controversial idol, and unfortunately received a lot of hate for it, which is part of what happened. But definitely, like I said, I never really, like, knew who she was, but I did listen to her a ton, even though I never knew who she was, because I listened to her group, and that was something I was like her group got me into K-pop. And I didn't, like, I had no idea who IU was. I didn't know they were all friends. So it's just kind of, like, one of those things that I remember, like, when I heard that she had passed, like, I didn't know who she was. And then when they were like, oh, she's from FX, I'm like, that was the group I used to listen to. And I was like, that was very weird for me to hear. Like, I was just like, oh, that's so strange. Like, that, like, but I'm kind of getting off track, but I think when it comes down to it, I think she is You know, IU on this song definitely, it's definitely deeper than a breakup from everything I can tell. I don't want to read too much into it, but I was reading the comments, and I just, like, if it was one comment coming up with some fan theory, it'd be like, whatever, but most of the comments were saying similar things, and, like, the whole thing about the title and the infinity, and when I, like, rethink the lyrics, it could definitely be interpreted that way, and I'm definitely interested to see, like, what other people think. Like I said, I don't want to, like, offend anyone either if I go too far of, like, oh my god, that's, like, a conspiracy. So I just don't really go like, too far with it. But anyway, I'm gonna let you guys leave your thoughts in the comments section. If you've heard the song, what did you think of the song? Did you like the song? What are your thoughts? What do you think the song means? So remember to please be respectful, especially when talking about stuff like this, because it's very important to, you know, be respectful and all that. So I don't want any fan wars. I don't want any, you know, disrespect toward anyone. So just keep the comments civil, please, if you do happen to watch this, and I will see you guys next time. All right, I'm out. Goodbye.